Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Thank God it's Friday. Monday's a brand new start. Wednesday, you're halfway home, and Thursday, the weekend's not far. Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. What can you say about Tuesday? Nothing, not a damn thing. Tuesday bites, Tuesday sucks, Tuesday blows, go away. Tuesday's crap, Tuesday's lame, Tuesday's dumb, go away. Tuesday, Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. But what can you say about Tuesday?
Nothing. A little bit of rain this morning when I got up and came to work. Some thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. Don't see anything right now, but taking a look at my forecast, maybe some more rain this afternoon into this evening. Tomorrow looks like a beautiful day. Some sunshine and a high right around 79, which is good because I got to mow the lawn. Sleep theory in a bit. We'll let you know what's new on New Release Tuesday. We'll talk to Scott Robert Shaw in the newsroom for 3 Ways and Bad News Happy Music. Going to be joined by Grant Bills from the Wisco Sports Show about 8:25 this morning. Talk about the Brewers. Talk about Jordan Love not practicing until he gets a new contract. Maybe even talk a little bit about the Olympics, which start later this week. If you need something, you can find us online, rockmornings.com. All of our contact info there. You can listen to the show live on the website. You can also listen to our daily podcast, rockmornings.com. We'll get to that sleep theory next.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings, Brian, Jean, and Scott Robert Shaw in the newsroom. She is in D.C., maybe? Did she get there?
I believe she did, yes.
Okay, all right.
According to social media.
All right, I don't know. I don't know if I'm not getting the algorithm or what, but I haven't seen any updates. But yeah, my wife and I joking yesterday as we were going to. My truck had a recall, so I had to take it in and got that taken care of. And we were going to pick up the truck, joking about. I said, "Did you see Jean?" She's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "I'm so glad we didn't fly." And I said, "Right." Yeah. So yeah, and then apparently they had some kind of train issue as well.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I don't know.
Well, I saw they made it to some of the sites and they posted some pictures.
Calamity Jean. That's what I like to call her. Her travel woes are well documented. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter where she's going, something's going to go wrong. We're here in the studio this morning. Scott Robert Shaw with a update. What's happening?
First stop, Wisconsin. Vice President Kamala Harris is making her first visit to the battleground state after locking up enough support from Democratic delegates to win her party's nomination.
Yeah, making a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
$81 million, is that what I saw?
More than $100 million raised in political donations since Sunday afternoon, and she's earned the backing of a number of Democratic officials and political groups. President Joe Biden says he's determined to get as much done as he possibly can in his final 6 months in the White House. He's urging his staff to help him beat back a defining force that past lame duck presidents have struggled to vanquish, that of diminished relevancy. The White House chief of staff urged aides during a staff meeting yesterday to keep their heads down and remain focused on the work that remains. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reminded State Department officials that Biden still has 1/8 of his term left. A lacrosse man accused of attempted burglary was placed back in custody over the weekend after trying to flee from police. Jared Cooper is charged with resisting arrest and violating his bail in a previous case. A warrant had been issued for Cooper, and an officer spotted him on a bicycle in the Rose Street area on Sunday. Cooper reportedly fell off the bike after crashing into a chain between two pillars and was arrested while trying to run. He was previously charged with a burglary attempt back in May.
Bro, he hit a chain in between.
Hit a chain.
And on on a bike? Was
Yeah,
he going
that'll
full,
stop you in a hurry, won't
Was he
it?
going full blast, or was he?
Well, he was trying to evade police, so I'm assuming he had some momentum.
And he still had the wherewithal to get up and run?
Apparently, according to the report. Yeah.
That sounds not
He
good.
was determined.
Yeah.
The Badgers will begin selling alcohol in general seating areas at Camp Randall Stadium this season. The university's decision leaves Nebraska and Northwestern as the only two schools not doing so in the 18-team Big Ten Conference. Fans will only be allowed to buy 2 drinks at a time. A portion of the revenue from alcohol sales will provide financial support for campus-led efforts to promote student wellness. Wisconsin will also be allow alcohol to be sold at the UW Fieldhouse, which is home to the UW women's volleyball teams and men's wrestling teams. Alcohol was already available for sale at the Kohl Center. The alcohol sales will begin with the Badgers' home opener August 30th against Western Michigan.
Welcome to the state of Wisconsin,
Right.
where we finally can have alcohol while we're watching a game.
Yeah, one of the last holdouts.
I found that to be so strange when we went to that Metallica show a few years ago at the Kohl Center. I had no idea because I'd never gone to a Badger game before. I'd never gone to the Kohl Center, never went to Camp Randall. And we took a bus to go see Metallica at the Kohl Center. This was, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And, we're drinking, partying, pre-gaming on the bus on the way down. We get off, we go into the arena, and what do you mean there's no alcohol? What do you mean you can't, they don't have beer in here? Like, what?
That was just 8 or 9 years ago, really?
Yeah.
Gosh, I think I've been to some shows at the Kohl Center where they sold alcohol, but
They weren't selling them at the Metallica show. And I was not happy. I was like, I'm a grown-up. I want to have a beer while I watch the band.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, one of the guys in Widespread's got tonsil cancer.
Tonsil cancer. Their lead guitarist, Jimmy Herring. Yeah.
Oof.
Stage 1, though, so they think they've got
They
it
got it early? All right. So maybe be able to...
They've canceled 3 dates in Carolinas, I think.
Okay.
But other than that, the tour is continuing.
Yeah, I saw that news this morning and thought of you right away. Scott Robert Shaw in the newsroom for 3 Ways, Bad News, Happy Music. What'd you do last night? Anything?
No. Well, we hooked up with my son and my new daughter-in-law.
Yeah, usually I didn't know. I didn't want to.
They eloped over the weekend, so.
How did you find
them
out?
as a married couple.
How'd you find out?
Well, we knew it was going to happen.
Okay.
It was a very private ceremony, which was what they wanted. They went to a justice of the peace in Hennepin County, Minnesota, in downtown Minneapolis, and they each had their witness and the justice of the peace, and they said their I do's and officially married.
So you knew all along they were going to get married. It was just they sort of said, well, we'll just do it when we get around to it kind of thing? Or
Yeah, they had actually gotten engaged about 4 or 5 months ago, I think.
Okay.
They've been living together for a while. But
living in sin,
Yes.
just like his dad.
Yes. Decided to do just a small private ceremony,
Right.
which is what they wanted. And they're just as married now.
And how did Mary take it? Because normally the mom is usually somewhat, I don't want to say upset, but disappointed maybe that there was not like a bigger ceremony where she wasn't involved somehow.
No, I think, unless she's lying to me, she's very much at peace with it and
Okay.
said that if that's what he wants, then that's what she wants. So,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
so that was nice to see them for the first time as a married couple.
Yeah. Did they appear any different? Were they bickering?
No, they had rings on their fingers. That was about the only thing
About
I
the only
noticed
thing?
that was
Yeah.
different.
All right. Well, congratulations. When do you become a grandpa?
I don't know yet.
All right.
I'll keep you posted.
Well, because, Shaw, you have a history of
I
getting
know.
chicks pregnant
I
before
know.
you get married.
I know.
It might be a DNA thing.
My
Might run in
son's
your...
smarter than me.
Okay, well, he waited. All right. More from Shaw in the newsroom throughout the morning. We'll get to sports after some Judas Priest, which is coming up after Sleep Theory.
Rock mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Judas Priest, you got another thing coming. Rock Mornings, Brian, Gene, and Shaw. The Brew Crew losing to the Cubs last night, 3-1. The same two teams tonight at 7:05. LeBron James led Team USA to a 92-88 win over Germany yesterday. James finishing with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Team USA finishes the pre-Olympic tour with a perfect 5-0 record. Gets started later this week in Paris. The Packers and Jordan Love getting close to an agreement on a contract extension, but until that's done, the starting QB will not participate or practice at all.
Go, Pack, go! Go, Pack, go!
Packers GM, there we go. I got it. Twice is enough. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst said yesterday, shortly before the team's first practice of training camp, that Love's representatives informed him on Saturday night of their plans before the deal gets done. But I'm sure they'll figure it out. Just a matter of time. Packers, by the way, also, speaking of offseason moves, signing a extension with Pro Bowl nose tackle Kenny Clark. Extension is 3 years, $64 million. Some nice cheddar. And Davante Adams, former Packer, did not rule out a reunion with his former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, when he was asked recently about rumors of a trade. Also wants to play with Tom Brady. This guy wants it all. Vegas Raiders, Davante Adams telling Shannon Sharp on his Club Shay Shay podcast that he'd like to try to lure TB12 out of retirement. He says, hell yes. You're going to talk about how old he is? I don't care. I don't care. I think I'd be the first person to play with Tom and Aaron Rodgers, so that'd be cool. He's got to still be able to throw it better than half these dudes in the league. Davante Adams also said that he'd welcome Brady, who turns 47 in August, if he were 58. Does not care how old TB12 is. Wants to catch passes from TB12. Interesting. And in case you missed it, and maybe you did, Netflix. Boy, oh boy, they're getting into all the games. They're getting into everything. They're going to have wrestling. They got the Receivers docu-series that just started. They had the QB series last year. Now, Netflix going to be releasing a documentary centered around Michigan football sign-stealing scandal featuring Connor Stallions telling his side of the story. Interesting. Stallions, the primary scapegoat for the sign-stealing scandal, which plagued Michigan during its 2023 national championship season. I mean, we're less than a year removed from when all that went down, and Netflix is going to spotlight it as part of their Untold series for this year in an episode called Sign Stealer, which apparently will hit Netflix August 27th. Stallions, again, going to be there explaining his side of the story. Interesting. They're also doing that Karen Reed trial, right? They're doing a docuseries on that, which just wrapped up a week ago. Netflix is doing everything. Got Des Rocks in a couple of minutes. If you need something, get in touch with us. Visit rockmornings.com for all of our contact info. We're also going to let you know what's new on New Release Tuesday, and we will talk to Grant Bills of the Wisco Sports Show at about 8:25.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw. You may never.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Or have his movie star looks or capture his laid-back vibe. But now you can have his smell. Introducing Makana Spray. The first aerosol that captures the unmistakable scent of Matthew McConaughey. Thanks to a unique blend of weed, sweat, jerky, grime, hickory, patchouli, and good old-fashioned natural B.O. Makana Spray will leave that special someone in your life saying,
holy what the is that stench?
Makana Spray.
Were you just carrying an animal carcass?
Available wherever fine colognes aren't sold.
When was your last shower? November?
A lot of celebrity perfumes out there. You see the Johnny Depp one? What is he, Chanel or whatever?
Visage or...
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not his. He's pimping for it, but it's I don't know, dude. I look at Johnny Depp now and I'm like, I don't know if that guy
You
smells.
don't look like you smell good.
No, man, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of looking at you and you look like a guy who maybe doesn't shower very often.
Right?
And you hooked up with a girl who pooped in the bed.
That's
I don't
true.
know what that says about your choices in life.
All right.
What kind of spray? Beef jerky. Let's see. Tonight on Celebrity Family Feud on ABC, Robin Thicke takes on Anthony Anderson. Walker Hayes takes on Rachel Bilson. Aren't these supposed to be celebrities?
I don't know.
Anthony Anderson is like the most current celebrity out of all those people, right?
I don't even know who he is.
He hosts a couple of shows. He was, I don't know, he's been in movies.
Okay. Like I said, I don't know who he is.
He's the one who, like, his mom, he's taking his mom around the world on that series, right? Because she had to give up her career to, like, support him, and no?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
All right. America's Got Talent over on NBC, Beat Shazam on Fox, Season 2 finale of Password tonight on NBC. Lindsey Vonn and Jimmy Fallon are on that. Speaking of Fallon, he's got Hugh Jackman as one of his guests tonight. I wonder what he'll be talking about.
Maybe a new movie.
Also, Ralph Macchio going to join Jimmy Fallon. Kimmel is being guest hosted by Lamorne Morris, and he's got Zachary Levy as his guest. And Matthew McFadden and John M. Chu will be on with Stephen Colbert. It's new release Tuesday. The Fall Guy film comes out. It's got Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
About a stuntman?
Yeah, PG-13, a down-and-out stuntman must find the missing star of his ex-girlfriend's blockbuster film. I'm guessing, Shaw, that while he's looking for the star of his ex-girlfriend's film that's gone missing, he somehow falls back in love with his ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
Probably loses his shirt at some point, too.
I'm sure the shirt comes off several times. Also on DVD today for new release Tuesday, The Strangers, Chapter 1, rated R. Doesn't star anybody you've ever heard of. Wife and I actually watched this. If you saw the original Strangers with Liv Tyler, you don't need to see this one. It's exactly the same. A couple in a cabin get harassed by people in masks. I don't know what else to tell you. Also, the Amy Winehouse movie, rated R, Back to Black, starring Marissa Abella, is out on DVD today. It's about the life and music of Amy Winehouse. Journey through adolescence to adulthood, creation of one of the best-selling albums of all time, and then, of course, downfall, Always with the downfall. There's a movie called Ezra, rated R, stars Bobby Cannavale, who I love as an actor. I think he's fantastic. Rose Byrne, Robert De Niro, Whoopi Goldberg, Rainn Wilson. So
good cast.
Hell of a cast. Comedian Max is a co-parent of an autistic son named Ezra with his ex-wife Jenna. And faced with crucial decisions about Ezra's future, Max and his son go on a life-changing cross-country road trip.
Sounds interesting.
So if you're into that kind of stuff, Shaw, that's got a you sort of tinge to it.
Sounds pretty good.
A movie called Arcadian, rated R, stars Nicolas Cage. This is one of those, 8 billion Nicolas Cage movies that are on a streaming service. It's about a dad and his twin teenage sons who fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. Also, Halo Season 2 and Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. So that's what's new on new release Tuesday. This movie, Twisters, apparently did pretty well in theaters.
Yeah, number 1 at the box office over the weekend.
Did you go see it?
I did not.
Obviously, the original is a fantastic film. You've seen that one, right?
Of course, many times.
I got to go. We got chaos. Let's see. Who's the... I'm trying to find the website here. Somebody put together... Hollywood Reporter. The website put together a list of the best disaster movies of all time. And it's kind of tough because you watch these Kong and Godzilla films and they destroy everything. I mean, the whole world gets destroyed and when those two start fighting. So, but they're more considered monster movies as opposed to disaster movies. I think disasters maybe refer more to nature taking over.
I'm thinking Titanic.
Even that didn't make the list. I think when disaster, you think about earthquakes.
Sure.
You think about asteroids. You think about tidal waves, things of that nature, maybe. 2012, which came out in 2009.
Okay.
This was the Mayan calendar one. Remember this?
I don't think so.
Well, at least that was kind of the bit of the premise. But basically, there was stuff was happening with the Earth and with weather patterns and stuff like that. It had John Cusack in it. Woody Harrelson played a nut job on a broadband radio. He had his own CB radio show. That came out in 2012. That's number 11. There's a Stallone movie in there from 96 called Daylight. Did you ever see that one?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was all right. Not one of his better-known films. The movie The Day After Tomorrow. Jake Gyllenhaal, Dennis Quaid, right?
Sure.
Going through the snow to get his kid in New York. That's number 9 on the list of the 11 best disaster movies of all time, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Deep Impact. A couple of asteroid movies here. Deep Impact at number 6, followed by Armageddon at number 5. They both came out in 1998. They were both about asteroids. Deep Impact was the one with Morgan Freeman as the president, right?
Yes.
And then Armageddon, of course, Bruce Willis, Harry Stamper. Yo, Harry, you the man. They find oil on Uranus. And then Twisters, which just came out, already on the list at number 4.
I had not seen reviews for this yet, so I'm not sure how well received it's been by critics. But
that's pretty high praise for a movie that literally just came out.
Yeah, I would agree.
Then Twister, the original, at number 3. And then 2 older films from the 70s in the top 2 spots. The Poseidon Adventure from 72 and The Towering Inferno from 74.
Okay.
But those apparently, according to The Hollywood Reporter, those are the 11 best disaster movies of all time. I think Armageddon should be higher. That's, one of my favorites. Twister was good, but I don't know. There wasn't a ton of destruction in that. I mean, they in the movie, they were all sort of in the same area. They were within like a tri-state area there in the, in Tornado Valley or Alley or whatever you call it. So I don't, when I think of these destruction, it's like I want disaster all over the earth. One of these things, That volcano film was pretty destructive, too, with Tommy Lee Jones. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that one, yeah.
There was another one that came out that was about volcanoes that had Pierce Brosnan in it, and also Linda Hamilton. That came out, I think, the same year. Disaster films, Twisters, number 1 at the box office. We saw that Longlegs movie. I told you that yesterday.
And you said it was okay.
Yeah, I didn't have any real preconceived notions about the film other than the fact that it was getting compared to Silence of the Lambs because it's a female FBI agent and it's a creepy guy who's murdering people, allegedly. But other than that, the parallels are there really isn't any parallels there. It's a kind of its own standalone film. It doesn't really have much of a comparison. But it was good. It wasn't bad. I think you'd like it. It's Nicolas Cage, again, super creepy.
Save the world.
Super creepy. No, he didn't save the world in this one. He creeped out everybody in this one. He's doing his weird hand things, peekaboos, and birthday songs. Yeah, there's a scene there. I won't give it away. If you've seen Longlegs, you know what I'm talking about. There's a scene after they capture Nicolas Cage in the holding cell, Shaw, when they're doing the interview with the cops, and they got him in the room with the table. Whew, it is violent.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. So be prepared for that, FYI. If you're going to see Longlegs, you might want to have your wife cover her eyes for that one.
Got it.
Nightmarish. What's going on in the real world?
Vice President Kamala Harris is making her first visit to Wisconsin after locking up enough support from Democratic delegates to win her party's nomination to challenge former President Donald Trump just 2 days after President Joe Biden dropped his re-election bid. Harris has already raised more than $100 million since Sunday afternoon. Wisconsin's 3rd U.S. House district seems to be a pretty good indication of who the Democratic nominee for president will be.
So the 6 people, I'm one of them, have already publicly announced that we will be supporting Kamala Harris at the convention.
William Garcia is a La Crosse County and 3rd Congressional District Democratic Party chairman. He was disappointed President Joe Biden dropped out of the race, but says now, since they're no longer the party with the old guy running for president, the campaign completely changes.
Now that that's gone, we get to focus a lot more on policies. And when you focus on the policies of the last 4 years, we blow Republicans out of the water.
Harris has already reportedly earned enough support to be the nominee for Democrats. That won't happen likely until the convention.
Wait a minute. Did you say Biden dropped out?
I did. I did say that.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Sorry.
I must have missed
Late to the party, huh?
What?
A plane crashed in a Wisconsin farm field near the site of a huge air show yesterday, killing both people on board. Sheriff's deputies and firefighters responding to that crash in the eastern Wisconsin town of Nikimi yesterday afternoon found the aircraft fully engulfed in flames. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating. The plane crashed about 2 miles south of the site of the EAA AirVenture Air Show that's going on at Oshkosh's Whitman Airport. Yesterday was the first day of the AirVenture, a week-long event scheduled to include military aircraft demonstrations and aircraft designers and NASA astronauts.
Well, that's a terrible way to start, huh?
Yeah, it seems every year, though. I mean, they get so many planes in there. It's rare if there's not a crash when all those planes converge on Oshkosh. A shooting inside a mall in Davenport, Iowa, sent one person to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. An 18-year-old witness said they were sitting in the mall when they heard 3 gunshots and then shouting. People started running. Police have not said if anyone was taken into custody security in connection with that shooting. And no practice at minicamp for Jordan Love until his contract situation with the Packers is resolved. General Manager Brian Gutekunst said yesterday the 25-year-old quarterback reported to camp but wouldn't be working out until a deal is reached. Love's contract set to expire at the end of the season. Gutekunst remained optimistic that a deal can be reached soon.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you need a quarterback if you want to win in the NFL, I think.
Well, and who do they don't have anybody behind them, right?
Nobody of note.
Right. So
nobody that's prepared to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He's the guy. They'll get it done.
Yeah, they will. And they're talking neighborhood of $50 million a year, one of the highest paid quarterbacks if they get this thing done.
Yeah, I think you get that stress out of their life and they can focus strictly on, the football side of it, right? I mean, I think that's kind of the idea there when you're talking about contract extensions for NFL quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, you see he was talking about just doing Aaron Rodgers stuff. No, just sort of further explaining, his absence from training camp and all that stuff, and just. I did see
went
though.
To Egypt.
Yeah, well, I did see that he recently. He's from California originally, and there's wildfires out there, pretty much every year. But he made a rather large donation.
Oh, well, that's nice.
To help with the wildfires in California. Did not get a lot of shine for that, by the way, because it all happened around the time when he was missing, and people were wondering what the hell's going on with Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, he did make a rather large donation and deserves credit for that. Apparently, he continuously does that, FYI. Thank you, Sean. Three-way. We'll get back to him in a bit. Also, Grant Bill's going to join us at about 8:25. RockMornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. Green Day.
Rock Mornings. Only on 95.7 The Rock.
That is Green Day with Brain Stew / Jaded. Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw. Gene, of course, gone this week in D.C. I just checked her social media stuff, and yes, she has arrived. They are seeing the sights. Some travel snafus. That whole Microsoft thing that happened over the weekend impacted her greatly. Yeah. But she's there, which is good. Happy for her. Got a text from Selective Hearing Stu. Said, every time I hear the intro for this Green Day song, I wait for the Godzilla to roar. The movie back in the early 2000s. Great soundtrack. Yeah, that was a Wallflowers around that with Heroes. You had that Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page song. There was a Jamiroquai song on there. Also, Rage Against the Machine had a song called No Shelter. Ben Folds. Fuel was on that. Walk the Sky. Green Day, yeah, there was a Godzilla remix of that. Silverchair was on that one. Yeah, that was a minute ago. I think that was late 90s, though. I don't know if that was 2000s. I think that might have been 98, 99. Thank you, though, Selective Hearing Stu. That was a pretty good soundtrack album. I wouldn't put it in my top 5 or top 10, but it was okay. It doesn't get up there with Judgment Night, which is a fantastic soundtrack. But it does get a thumb up. Also got a text from somebody in Iowa who said, sorry about your mom, B. Much respect. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll get back to the Rock here in a couple minutes with Bad Wolves. If you need something, you can reach out and get in contact with us. Visit rockmornings.com for all of our contact info.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw, Bad Wolves, and Zombie. Great story about a canine officer in North Carolina helped get a young boy who was lost back home safely. Apparently somebody spotted the kid walking down the road all by himself earlier this month. The kid is about 6 years old. Couldn't tell the cops where he lived because he is autistic and nonverbal. So the cops, who have a bloodhound named Remy, brought Remy down to see if he could do a reverse canine track, which apparently is not done very often. Work backwards, try to figure out where the person was instead of where they are, and in about 15 minutes, Remy was able to get the job done. Found the kid's house about a half a mile away. Turned out he'd snuck out and his parents had no idea he was gone.
That area's got hundreds, if not thousands, of homes, and we're looking for one. So pretty amazing that he tracked right up to the doorway.
The crazy part is that Remy is a new officer as well for the police down there in Indian Trail, North Carolina. Rookie canine officer flipping the script. And instead of tracking someone down who had gone missing, was able to turn things back and find this kid his way back home. Somebody called 911, saw a child wandering down the street alone. Officers arrived. They couldn't figure out where the boy was from. Said he was nonverbal, couldn't communicate to them where he needed to go, so officers called in Remy. Union County Sheriff Public Information Officer Lieutenant James May said, quote, they normally train them to start where the person was last seen and then go find that person. However, in this case, we're doing it in reverse order. The dog was simply using that scent article, in this case, the child's smell, from his arms and back of his neck to track backwards to find that same smell inside of a home. Remy's handler, a deputy named Deputy Belk, said he was not at all surprised at how quickly and effectively Remy got the child home. He has trained Remy since he was just 8 weeks old, so this dog's been on the case for quite a while and was able to help get this young boy home safely to his parents. Reverse tracking. Interesting. Good job, Remy. I'm sure you got a nice steak dinner. More from Shaw in just a couple minutes. Also Disturbed, Nirvana on the way. If you need something, let us know. rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash.
Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say. Your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
First, there was Swipe, and now get ready for Swipe 2.0. It's not just a 3-in-1 device, it's a 6-in-1, packed with even more amazing features. Swipe 2.0 also comes with a double serving of caffeine to keep you energized all day. Plus, AI photos that eliminate the vape clouds for a clear picture every time. And a built-in feature that picks the Snuggie out of your yoga pants for a flawless fit. And for boomers, Swipe 2.0 translates Gen Z slang.
He's always flexing his new vape while ripping on Snap. Translation: he's showing off his new vape on Snapchat.
Swipe 2.0. Experience the future of convenience and connectivity.
It's sort of real, actually.
I can use that translation thing.
It sounds made up. Do your kids talk like that?
I don't know. Maybe to each other, not to me.
Not to you. Okay. They understand there's a,
yes.
a language barrier?
Uh-huh.
Okay. There is a new vape pen, and it's really hard to call it a pen at this point, right? Because it no longer looks like a pen. I mean, it looks like a cell phone, and that's exactly what this thing is.
Oh?
It's a phone and a fitness tracker, because that's what vape people really care about is their fitness. You know, Shaw, while they're sucking in all that tobacco, water, vapor, whatever the hell it is.
I'm going to go for a nice 10-mile run.
I'm not saying that people who rip heaters first thing in the morning aren't going out for a jog later in the afternoon, but, you know, look, we all pollute our body with something at some point. But, yeah, there's a company called Swipe, and they're selling a new vape pen that's also a smartphone. It's a rectangular thing with a screen on the side, so you can check social media, send text messages while you vape, Shaw. You don't even need a phone. You don't need a phone and a vape. You just need the vape.
One less thing in my pocket, right?
It pairs with your phone, so you don't need a separate phone plan. And they're disposable, which is great, right? Like those coffee pods. Let's just put more plastic in the trash when we're done with it. I'm sure they won't end up in the ocean, right? They won't end up there. Each one of these Swipe 2 vape devices costs about $20. You throw it away when it runs out of juice. So
reasonable, it seems.
There's no recharging it. There's no putting new batteries in it. Okay. It's just like you Bluetooth it with your phone and you use it, so you don't have to have your phone and your vape pen out at the same time. What
it's always been a struggle for me.
Yeah, me too. That's what why do I got to take this phone out while I vape? If only I could do both at the same time. Apparently, it also has a couple of games pre-installed. It has a weather app and a fitness tracker because, yes, there's one thing I know about vapors, Shaw, it's that they love to stay fit. They love to check in on their heart rate, their sleep count, whatever that is. The only thing it doesn't do, apparently, is make phone calls. But nobody does that anyways.
Right.
Someone at Business Insider tested one, said it was a little bit buggy, but the texting and social media features worked okay. So the new Swipe 2 device is about $20, disposable, and it'll vape. It'll send text messages. You can scroll Facebook or Snapchat or whatever social media.
Do it all with one device.
And it'll track your fitness because Lord knows that's what we need.
The jailer had given Rappold a manure vape.
Which is different than a manure vape.
Yes, it's much different.
Don't know what those do, Shaw, but I doubt they do the same thing. $20 for a disposable vape pen that ends up in the ocean. Yeah, we kind of I'm not like super duper eco crazy guy, right? Obviously.
Right. Try and do what you can,
But I don't mind recycling. There's a little bit of enjoyment that comes from it, right? Bottles and cans and plastic and all that stuff, and you hope that it gets taken to the right. After it leaves my house, I can't control what happens, right?
Of course not, no.
Other than voting, there's not much you can do. You hope for the best,
You'd like to assume it's made into a nice, park bench or something like that.
And when the Keurigs first came out, we bought one because it's like, oh, how convenient, right? This little thing, and it's only one cup at a time, and it's ready in 5 seconds, and blah, blah, blah. But then you're like constantly throwing those things away, and you're like, this is a lot of trash to make coffee. You know what I mean? So we stopped doing it, and part of it was eco, part of it was those things are hard to clean. They're not always accurate either. And I feel like these vape pens are just, unnecessary. Not necessarily for the vaping part.
I'm sure there's a market for it.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just saying that, you got this thing that's, handheld. It's a lot of plastic and gadgets and whatever, and then when you're done, you just, throw it away. Whatever. Who cares? F it. It's no longer your problem. Right?
So cameras are now disposable, or phones, or whatever.
I guess. Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. What else happening?
Vice President Kamala Harris is making her first visit to a battleground state today, and that state is Wisconsin. Harris is traveling to Milwaukee, where she will hold her first campaign since she launched her first campaign rally since she launched her campaign on Sunday. She's already raised more than $100 million in donations and scored the backing of Democratic officials and political groups. Now, this visit today was scheduled before Biden ended his campaign, we've learned now that Harris has the support of well over the 1,976 delegates she would need to win the party's nomination on the first ballot. Harris will be joined today by Governor Tony Evers, Senator Tammy Baldwin, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Attorney General Josh Kaul, Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, and Wisconsin Democratic Party Chairman Ben Wickler.
Hi, I'm Tony Evers, and I'm really excited to be here. I hope everyone has a good time, and let's make sure, let's clap our hands together in a rhythmic beat.
Yeah, there's lots of speculation about who Kamala Harris's running mate will be, assuming she scores that nomination. Tony Evers' name has not come up on that list. I think they're looking for somebody with a little more
personality,
fire in the belly. Yeah.
Can we get the BIA guy? Well, was he Democrat? Howard Dean?
Yeah, he was Democrat.
He was? Okay. Can we get him back?
I don't know what's become of him. I don't think he's still active.
He's a lot of fun.
The Secret Service director says the roof where a shooter opened fire at Donald Trump's Pennsylvania rally was identified as a potential vulnerability days before the event. Director Kimberly Cheadle made the comments yesterday. She was grilled by lawmakers.
Boy, they got their asses handed to them yesterday. I watched some of that. I don't normally watch a lot of that stuff, but boy, that was riveting stuff to watch.
And both parties were giving it to them. Cheadle acknowledges the agency was told about a suspicious person between 2 and 5 times before the assassination attempt of the former president.
We were told 700 times about the roof and a suspicious person, but they still got a couple of shots off and killed a guy.
Cheadle told lawmakers during yesterday's hearing, "We failed." Cheadle was berated for hours by both Republicans and Democrats.
Oof.
Another
is there talks about a loss of job or something here? Or
yeah,
demotion?
There are calls for her to resign.
All right, gotcha.
Another deadly day in Milwaukee. A 17-year-old girl was killed and 8 other teenagers were wounded in a shooting that took place at a Milwaukee park early yesterday. Officers found the girl dead and 8 other shooting victims at Deneen Park. They're still working to identify and locate a suspect or suspects involved in the shooting. One of the men who was shot is in critical condition. The other 7 survivors are in stable condition. Police said an argument started shortly before that shooting. A man in Iowa is dead after being pinned beneath a riding lawnmower. It happened in Jessup, Iowa, when the man was trying to put a commercial-grade lawnmower back onto a trailer when it flipped over and rolled, landing on top of him. Rescue crews were able to get the man out from underneath the mower, but he later died of his injuries. And someone went on quite a joyride in Vernon County over the weekend. A driver, believed to be in a pickup, was traveling on County Road Y around 1 a.m. on Sunday. The vehicle left the road where it curves and continued driving into and through a cornfield, causing significant damage. Police continue to search for the truck and the driver. Yeah, I'm not sure how far he went, but I saw an aerial photo. And
speaking of that, I totally missed the thing in La Crescent while I was gone.
The house and the roof, the car.
Dude, well, and then I heard it was in the roof, and then I read the story, and it came from the backyard over the trees.
That's what it sounds like. Highway, I think, 25 that runs above and behind this home. Car went off the road through a wooded area and somehow landed in the garage of this house after plunging through the roof.
Yeah, my wife's like, scrolling social media on Facebook, and she told me about the story, and I was like, really? And then, later that afternoon, I went to read it, and I was trying to do the geography of it all, and I'm like, wait a minute, it came from, the backyard? Over those trees?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I got to go drive by there and take a look at that.
Yeah, that's a headline we haven't had before. Car plunges through roof of house.
Man, I missed everything when I was gone. Jeez Louise. Thank you, Sean. Mm-hmm. Bad News, Happy Music coming up. A bit later on, Grant Bills from the Wisco Sports Show going to join us. Get in touch with us. Visit rockmornings.com for more info. Going to get to sports after Disturbed.
Rock Mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
Don't Tell Me from Disturbed. That is okay. I don't mind it. It's not my favorite Disturbed song, but it'll do. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a text from Paul, said, getting back on about Anthony Anderson, he was the guy in Transformers who ratted out the blonde chick for hacking into the government. Yeah. My grandmama doesn't like nobody on the carpet, especially police. They put the plate of donuts out there to test your guilt. I ate the whole plate. The whole plate. Yeah, he was in, was he the first Barbershop movie, right? Didn't he? He was one of the guys who stole the ATM, and he's been in a ton of stuff. I can't remember. I couldn't remember what to tell Shaw that would make him remember, to point him out. I know he hosts a game show or two. He's on some travel show with his mom. Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. The Brewers losing to the Cubs last night, 3-1. Same two teams tonight at 7:05, 2-3 between the Brewers and the Cubs. America beating Germany again. 92-88 last night, Team USA. Finishing 5-0 in their Olympic tune-ups. Olympics start later this week. Speaking of the Olympics, we'll get to some more Olympic stuff here in just a moment. But Packers and Jordan Love nearing an agreement on a contract extension, but until that gets done, the starting QB for Green Bay will not participate in practice or any games this preseason. My guess is they'll get that deal done this week. Packers also extended nose tackle Kenny Clark, giving him an extension for 3 years and $64 million. LSU cornerback Javian Toviano turned himself into police on Sunday on charges of video voyeurism. According to an arrest warrant, the 19-year-old sophomore allegedly recorded himself having sex with a woman without her consent by using a clock with a built-in camera that was near the bed. The woman, who claims she told him she didn't want to be recorded, said she found the videos of the two of them on his iPad. The videos, according to the arrest report, were taken July 5th and 6th, and he has now turned himself in to police. And speaking of the Olympics, which start later this week, Thursday, I think they begin? I'm excited. Looking forward to it. Team USA, hoping they dominate, come back with the gold. I want to see that shot putter throw the shot put from France to Italy. Looking forward to that. Track and field's always fun. I'm looking forward to seeing Snoop-a-Loop, doing some of the call. I hope they let him get high. I hope they let Snoop get high as F and do the broadcast. That to me sounds like it'd be way more fun to watch. But I know a lot of the Olympic athletes are very concerned about having sex, and apparently they're going to let them do it this year. The Olympics, they're putting out all the condoms, giving them prophylactics so they'll stay safe or somewhat safe. The problem is the beds, right? Have you heard the story about the beds? Well, for years the beds are very cheap. It's not like, the nice bed that you've got in your house that can sustain a good night of the horizontal mambo, whatever you want to call it. Thankfully, there's an Olympian who's doing the legwork for everybody else, making sure that the beds are appropriate and good to go for all different forms of sex.
I'm at the Paris Olympic Games and they once again have these cardboard anti-sex beds. When I tested them last time, they withstood my testing. Maybe I wasn't rigorous enough though. Nope, they passed the test. It's fake. Fake news.
So this guy, his name is Tom Daley. And he is springing into action, so to speak, at the Olympic Village. Just days before the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics kick off with the big opening ceremony, the British diver peeling the curtain back a little bit and giving people a peek at the infamous cardboard beds that have people scratching their heads left and right since the 2020 games. He says, "This is cardboard." In a TikTok video, knocking on the headboard and pulling at the bedpost, they've got the mattress and then this cardboard with the mattress on top and a mattress topper, and then we get our own Paris 24 comforter. Jumping on the bed, saying all sorts of stuff, including, as you can see, they're pretty sturdy. The beds have been jokingly referred to as anti-sex beds by a lot of people. And, of course, he's now doing the testing for Olympians who haven't shown up yet. Tom Daley, the diver from Britain, letting people know that come hell or high water, you should be okay in Paris to have some sex. Just be careful, You get that cardboard all wet with all sorts of different fluids, and the next thing you know, it starts to turn into a mush. And you don't want to have that in your lovemaking process. Grant Bills will join us next hour from the Wisco Sports Show. We'll get back to Shaw and also some Pearl Jam and AC/DC coming up.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Listen to this. Marcy comes over and she tells me that her ex-boyfriend was over late last night and yada, yada, yada. I'm really tired today.
What do you think she was tired from?
Well, obviously the yada, yada.
Today is International Yada Yada Day. I mentioned the bisque. You skipped over the best part. No, I mentioned the bisque. International Yada Yada Day. Also National Vanilla Ice Cream Day and Peanut Butter and Chocolate Day. Two great tastes that go together.
You got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
You got my peanut butter and your chocolate. Yeah, I see Miller Lite's bringing back the Taste Great, Less Filling commercials. Yeah, they got Jorge Posada and David Ortiz. And it's like a funky 70s throwback.
Nice.
In those commercials. But yeah, those of us who are of a certain age remember the, hey, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter. Hey, you got your peanut butter in my chocolate. Two great tastes that taste great together. National Peanut Butter and Chocolate Day. Got a text from Pam about Anthony Anderson. I know who Anthony Anderson is. You don't remember him.
I don't recall the name.
I was trying to remember like a role that he played that you would remember him from. He was on that TV show Blackish.
Yes. I'm looking at a picture of him now. I recognize him.
With Tracy Ellis Ross.
He does those diabetes ads.
Does he?
Some kind of drug.
He's got an alcohol ad, too. Some kind of like low-calorie seltzer alcohol or something like that. But yeah, he was on that TV show Blackish, and Diana Ross's daughter, I think, played his wife, Tracy Ellis Ross, right? Paul also texted in and said he was in the original, well, not the original, but in the first live-action Transformers movie that Michael Bay directed back in the early 2000s. He was kind of like the hacker guy that ate the whole plate of donuts. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
No. See, and again, that's what I was struggling with. I was like, yeah, I know where he's from. I've seen him in movies, but Shaw's not going to know, so I have to try to figure out in my brain.
Provide clues that I might get.
He was also in the first Barbershop movie with Ice Cube, and they stole the ATM. Him and another guy stole the ATM, and they kept trying to break into it. And you don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Zach sent me a message. Apparently, we're diving down into the IMDb hole of Anthony Anderson. He said he was in Kangaroo Jack. Do you remember that one, Shaw?
I do not.
All right, but you recognize him, so you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do now.
Well, he's going to be on a TV show tonight. I don't even remember what one.
TV show we were talking about.
I think it was Celebrity Family Feud or some crap like that. But anyways, I digress. Yada yada day show. Yada yada yada. Anthony Anderson. There you go.
Got it.
I think that's how you use yada yada properly.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in the real world?
A La Crosse resident could be sent to Pennsylvania to face a child pornography charge from 3 years ago. Anthony Perry was jailed last week in La Crosse as a fugitive on a warrant that was issued in 2021 after he failed to appear in Northampton County Court for sentencing on a criminal charge there. Authorities say Perry had been found in La Crosse shortly after that Pennsylvania warrant was approved. Comedian Jon Stewart is pressing the Biden administration to fix a loophole in a massive veterans aid bill that has left out some of the very first troops who responded after the September 11, 2001 attacks. They got sick after deploying to a former Soviet base near Afghanistan that was contaminated with high levels of uranium. To understand what the troops were exposed to, Stewart told the Associated Press to imagine you're stationed inside the meth lab on Breaking Bad. But it turns out that radiation-related illnesses at this facility were not covered by legislation that made care easier to get for millions of veterans who were exposed to contaminants during the wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and other conflicts. An Iowa man is recovering, but 3 of his cattle are dead after a rollover accident in Wisconsin's Grant County. It happened at a roundabout on Highway 61 yesterday. The driver, an Iowa man, tipped his semi and cattle hauler after he went through the roundabout too quickly. He suffered minor injuries, but 3 of his cattle in the hauler died in the accident. Deputies wrote the driver a ticket for failing to keep his vehicle under control. And the hot doggers are safe after an accident yesterday involving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. It happened on the tollway near Oak Brook, Illinois. Police say the Wienermobile and a Hyundai were both going north when the Wienermobile hit the car, lost control, and rolled over.
Oh, no.
Luckily, there were no injuries. The right lane of the interstate was shut down for more than an hour after the crash as they searched for a tow truck big enough to haul the Wienermobile away for repairs.
Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer Wiener. That is what I truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener, everyone would be in love with me.
Speaking of old commercials and jingles.
Classic.
Yeah. The Oscar Mayer Wiener truck involved in an accident. Right? Was it one of these new drivers that they were trying to find online?
I don't know, but I'm wondering, are they going to be employed with the Oscar Mayer company for much longer? I mean, obviously they want their...
Well, were they at fault?
It sounds like it.
Oh.
It sounds like the Wienermobile hit another car.
Ugh.
I mean, those things got to be hard to navigate, right? What are they, about 25 feet long?
Well, yeah, but you have to, I'm assuming you get a full training course to drive the Wienermobile around, right?
There's probably some stipulation in your contract. If you flip it over, you're going to lose your job.
You think? Well, Biden's going to be out of work. Maybe he can drive the Wienermobile. No?
You think you want him behind the wheel?
I don't want him on a bike. I don't want him near any wheels. I don't want him near a stone wheel that just got made by a caveman. I don't want him near any wheel. Thank you very much. You know what I woke up to this morning?
Rain?
Dog diarrhea.
Oh, ick.
Yeah. So we had to leave in a hurry last Saturday to get to New Hampshire to be there for my mom before she passed. And we were lucky enough to get there hours before she passed away. So we got to see her. But because of that, our situation, and look, the dogs went to Blake and Elsa's house, co-workers of ours, and
they've been there many times, so it's familiar territory.
Familiar territory, right? They went there. We never had any reports of anything going wrong. But then on Thursday, because of work stuff, they couldn't keep the dogs any longer, so they had to take them to the vet hospital where we take our dogs. And
to board them?
Right, and we had already called and set up the boarding. And we love our vet hospital. They're great people. They do wonderful work. But the boarding is not like a luxury apartment, right? Where they're they're in a kennel essentially for the entire day. Maybe they have somebody come and take them out. But it's very stressful. Maggie, our older dog, our boxer, is deaf, and she's very accustomed to her lavish lifestyle of couches and fluffy beds and blankets and everything. So I think she got out of sorts. When we got back on Sunday and picked the dogs up, we were told that she had a case of some diarrhea at the vet office. Well, then they said they brought her out to the office area, and then she calmed down, and she was fine, and we thought everything was okay. We picked her up on Sunday. We didn't have any problems. Everything was good. Slept, got up, came to work yesterday, went home. Everything seemed fine. She ate her dinner. Everything was fine. No problems there. But then this morning,
there's a problem.
So I got up. I get up at about 1 o'clock. And normally, because I snore really bad, the wife had gone into the other room to sleep. And so I got up, and the two dogs are on the bed on the floor next to our bed. And as I come around the corner, I had my phone on so I don't, bang my foot into anything. I'm looking down at the floor, and there's all this, like, stuff on the floor, and I'm like, uh-oh, what is that? I'm like, is that puke? I'm like, did one of the dogs puke, and then the other dog tried to eat it? And so I had to turn all the lights, and no, it wasn't puke. It was poop. And it was all over the place on the hardwood floors in the bathroom.
You didn't step in it.
Well, I didn't step in it, but the dog did step in it, and so then, of course, it became
Tracks
a big...
everywhere, yeah.
Oh, it was a project. Just what you want to do when you wake up at 1 a.m. and your wife's sleeping in the other room, and I'm trying to tiptoe. And, of course, the dogs wake up because their routine...
Sure.
My routine with the dogs is to put Fenway, the smaller dog, back in our bed. The wife will come back in and sleep in the bed with Fenway while I let Maggie out, our boxer, so she can go to the bathroom, have a drink of water, and then she goes back to her bed and goes back to sleep. And, of course, all this gets disrupted, and you're like, please don't walk around the house covered in poop. Oh, my God. And it's what an awful time for that to happen. Not that diarrhea in the house is ever a good time, cha-cha-cha, but it was just, super, super stressful this morning. But apparently she's okay. I just got the text from the wife. No more diarrhea, so I will say, as much as I want you and Mary to get another dog, Shaw.
Yeah.
The situation of having to find someone to take care of them while we had an emergency in the family, and then coming back and dealing with diarrhea.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's like, maybe not having any animals is a pretty good thing,
It's certainly easier.
Yeah. Well, and the cat got so excited that we came home because we'd been gone for a week, and he's meowing like crazy because we're home. And meow, meow, meow all over the house, and he's like waiting for me outside the door first thing. Then he yacked all over the floor the other day because he got too worked up, and it's like, how much poop and vomit do I have to clean up in this place? So you do have that part, Shaw, on me. I will say you got that leg up on me. AC/DC now.
Rock mornings on your rock station.
Shoot the thrill, AC/DC, Rock Mornings, Brian, Jean, and Shaw. She's in D.C. this week with the family, so it's me and Shaw holding the fort down. Boys Club, fist bumps, explosions, pow. We got Grant Bill's going to join us at about 8:25 from the Wisco Sports Show, heard around the state. One more three-way with Shaw, plus Bad News, Happy Music, our daily check-ins as well. Shoot us emails and text messages. Find all our contact info online at rockmornings.com.
More of your rock mornings coming up in just a bit.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers with Under the Bridge. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Harry Potter, celebrates his birthday on July 31st, but the kid who played him, Daniel Radcliffe, celebrates his birthday today, and he is 35 years old. Happy 35th birthday to Daniel Radcliffe. Trying to branch out, do different things. Seen a couple of his movies that weren't Harry Potter films. They were okay. It's so hard to disconnect that. You do 10,000 movies, whatever it was, as Harry Potter. Monica Lewinsky is 51 years old today.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Slash, 59 years old today. Super duper guitarist, and just recently lost his stepdaughter, I believe. Saw that story online yesterday. Slash, 59 years old today. Woody Harrelson is 63.
See, the thing is, you guys look at me, you see the backwards hat, the gray socks, the funky outfit, and you say, now this guy's a chump, am I right? No, geek. A f***ing geek, exactly, all right? But what you don't realize is that it ain't easy. It is hard goddamn work making something this pretty look like a chump or a geek.
White men can't jump. Woody Harrelson, 63. Edie McClurg is 79. She played the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Born on this day in 1967, died in 2014, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
But Ruben, I'm in a situation here. We have to leave now. Well, no, can we stay a couple more minutes? But dude, no, this is serious. I just sharted. I don't know what that means. I tried to fart and a little shit came out. I just sharted.
Great actor. Speaking of the movie Twister, he was in that. Died from taking heroin, cocaine, and prescription medicines. So, yeah, he overdosed. And also born on this day in 1968, dying in 2016, former drummer for Megadeth, Nick Menza. July 23rd, 1962. 62 years ago today, Jackie Robinson inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He, of course, broke the color barrier playing for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Let's see. 1984, Vanessa Williams became the first Miss America to have to give up the title after it was discovered she had posed for lesbian photos in Penthouse magazine. Yeah. 1993, the movie Coneheads in theaters.
Most certainly, we would enjoy consuming mass quantities of any substance you have to offer.
Mass quantities. Dan Aykroyd, Jane Curtin, Tommy, damn it, Chris Farley. Coneheads, 1993. In theaters on this day in 1999, Drop Dead Gorgeous. Also the movie The Haunting. Liam Neeson. Was that Catherine Zeta-Jones, right? I think she was in that one. 2002, My Chemical Romance dropped their debut album, I Brought You My Bullets. You Brought Me Your Love. My wife loves that band. I've seen them a number of times. I'm good for the rest of my life. 2004, The Bourne Supremacy in theaters. I just recently went back and rewatched all those. I think they're making another one, aren't they? Oh, I saw that somewhere. And in 2011, 13 years ago, speaking of the Amy Winehouse movie that's on DVD today, Back to Black. 2011, Amy Winehouse died on this day of alcohol poisoning.
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said no, no.
Joining the infamous 27 Club. And there you go. Some birthdays and pop culture stuff that happened on July 23rd. We'll get back to Scott Robert Shaw in a couple of minutes. Plus, Grant Bills from the Wisco Sports Show is going to join us to talk about Jordan Love and the contract situation. We'll maybe take a look at the Paris Olympics as well. And we'll also get to some Five-Finger Death Punch.
Rock mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
One final three-way this morning with Scott Robert Shaw in the newsroom. What do we got?
A planned visit to Wisconsin today by Kamala Harris is likely to get much more attention than a normal vice presidential trip now that Joe Biden is ending his bid for re-election. Harris is going to be in Milwaukee today. This will be her fifth trip to Wisconsin this year. That includes a visit Harris made to La Crosse back in April when she spoke with local nursing home workers and gave a speech at the La Crosse Center. Now that Joe Biden has withdrawn from the presidential election, should the Democratic Party have an open contest for the nomination or just declare Kamala Harris the nominee? Dr. Charles Franklin with the Marquette Law School poll says the issue could be settled well before the convention in Chicago.
There are some people that advocate for an open convention, but I think the rapid movement to accept Harris as the replacement nominee that we've seen in the last 24 hours is still pretty stunning.
Franklin says many Democrats have already started to endorse Vice President Harris. He doesn't know how long it will be before a decision is made, but says the quick rally behind her is striking. La Crosse's old fire station on Monitor Street is being put up for sale. The city's Board of Public Works has reviewed a resolution to seek offers for that surplus property. City planner Andrea Train explains the sale process.
This will be advertised in the newspaper and then also with a for sale sign. And then the Board of Public Works will receive offers for that that after a certain period of time and then provide a recommendation to council.
The old firehouse serving La Crosse's north side was recently replaced with a new station along La Crosse Street on the UWL campus.
The old one still got the pole in it?
I assume it does.
Do they even have a pole in that one?
I don't know. I'm not positive anymore if they still do that.
Yeah.
And Delta Airlines is struggling for a fourth straight day to recover from the recent tech outage. Even as other airlines are returning to nearly normal levels of service, Delta canceled more than 700 flights yesterday, bringing its total since the outage started Friday to more than 5,500 cancellations. Delta's woeful performance is drawing unwanted attention from the federal government. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says he spoke to the Delta's CEO about the cancellations. Buttigieg says he expects Delta to issue quick refunds and pay for hotels and meals for customers who are stranded by these cancellations.
You can expect in one hand and poop in the other.
Yeah, right,
Let me know which one fills up first.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the meme from Southwest Airlines?
I did not.
It wasn't from them, but it's a meme about Southwest Airlines. It was very popular over the last couple of days with all the airline travel being delayed and canceled. It was alleged tweet from Southwest Airlines that said, well, look who needs old Southwest Airlines now because all of our systems run on a single Commodore 64 in a warehouse in Arlington.
Nice.
Go to hell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't experience very much in terms of interruption because their computer systems are so old. They're like software, so they didn't have to worry too much about it.
Well, good for them, I guess, and their travelers.
I also got a text from Kevin who said, no pole in station for sale.
Well, now we know. Thank you.
That's only a single story. All right. We can install a pole. I've seen girls with poles in their bedrooms before, Shaw. You just go from the floor to the ceiling. I didn't have to, doesn't have to go through a hole in the floor or anything. You could drill a hole, right? Cut one out.
You could.
Put a pole in the front yard.
I mean, if I was going to be a fireman, I'd want to go sliding down a pole, right?
Well, how am I going to have a sweet Ghostbusters firehouse if they don't have a pole in there? That's just not going to be a thing. Bad news, happy music coming up. How are we looking?
Let's see. First, it was a missing chicken strip. Then, not enough ranch dressing. That set a woman off at a Jack in the Box.
Okay, Karen. We'll get to that in a bit. Also, Grant Bills from the Wisco Sports Show will join us after Five Finger Death Punch.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
That is Five Finger Death Punch, of course, with The Bleeding. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. She is in Washington, D.C. on a family vacation. I am back from my trip to New Hampshire, and joining us on the phone is the one and only Grant Bills, host of the Wisco Sports Show. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I am well, Simpson. It's nice to hear your voice again, and it's nice to just have some boys' time without Gene. You know, I love Gene to death. I really do, but sometimes it's just nice for the boys to hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I've been doing this show with Gene for almost 20 years, and it's very nice when she's not here stressing me out.
You guys are a wonderful duo, and I do love Gene to death. But yeah, sometimes it's just guy stuff. You know, it'll be nice to talk about guy stuff.
Well,
and why they're in D.C. Why? What is attractive about D.C.? Are they there to be inspired by our democracy or something?
Well, it is the nation's capital, and I would recommend that as a blue or true-blooded American, you go there at least once in your life to see all the beauty that America has to offer.
There's no way you meant what you just said.
Yes, I've been there. I've been to D.C., and I'm not saying the crime is great or the politics are great. I'm just saying that in terms of monuments and statues and the White House and everything else and Arlington National Cemetery, you got to go. If you're not, you might as well move to Canada, hippie.
All right. I could get behind that then. I don't often hear you wax poetic about, the good natures of places and things and people. So that's nice to hear. I've never been there. I'd like to go there someday, mostly because I'm a big fan of the movie National Treasure, and I would like to see some of the spots that are highlighted in that film.
Very little of it took place in D.C. I think it was in Baltimore, right? And then it was up in the Arctic Circle for a little while. And yeah, I mean, there was some in D.C., but I don't know what the hell that has to do with going to D.C. and seeing the history of America. I mean, it's right there in front of your face. Do you not like America? What are you, a commie?
No, I love America. I do. And I was born and raised here. I am a red-blooded, breathing American or whatever. Yeah, I've just never been to D.C. to see the spots. I'd like to go to the Smithsonian. See, I like museums. I'm a big museum guy, so I'd be in on that. Look at the monuments. That'd be cool. See the cherry blossoms in the spring. I'd be down.
You're mentioning all the things that are irrelevant about going to D.C. We're talking about the Washington Monument here. We're talking about the White House. Talking about Arlington National Cemetery, one of the most awe-inspiring sights I've ever seen.
The cemetery, yes. I've seen pictures of the other things. I feel like I get the gist. But the cemetery, yes, that would be powerful and moving for sure.
I mean, there's so many other things there. I mean, come on, Grant.
All right. Maybe I'm anti-East Coast. Maybe that's it.
I can see that. Well, let's refocus on sports here. That's why we have you on for the most part. Wisco Sports Show. Heard in the afternoons throughout the state of Wisconsin. And the big news, of course, in Packerland is Jordan Love contract. How close are they to making this a real deal?
Well, everyone says they're really close. They're very close. And I bet that they are. I bet they have most of the money settled. I would imagine they're arguing over how much is guaranteed and where it's guaranteed. Because the Packers, they're a little old school. They don't like to guarantee money past the first year. And a lot of franchises now, like Joe Burrow's contract and Trevor Lawrence's contract, these teams are guaranteeing a lot of money past the first year. So if the Packers aren't going to do that, then they have to probably make some big concessions somewhere else. So that's probably what they're working through. I don't think it's a big deal that it's not done yet. I would have liked it done yesterday before camp officially started, and I imagine both the Packers and Jordan Love would have liked it to be done too. If this isn't done by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest, I'm going to start to get annoyed. Because Simpson, they've had all summer. What have you been doing? What have you guys been working on? So, yeah, if you need a couple extra days to put it across the finish line, sometimes things in business, there's snafus, there's hang-ups, when you're trying to get something done with your boss, it takes a couple extra days. I get it. But, if this drags on much longer, I'm going to start to get annoyed because, what? Sit down in a room until it's done.
Well, do you know, I proclaim ignorance on this. Is there a certain starting point in the NFL calendar where they can officially start talking about contracts? There's obviously there's also all sorts of deadlines in the NFL, but is there a certain point they have to wait until a certain date before they can start having those official conversations? But he's already he's an under contract player anyways, right?
Yeah. It's not, if he was on another team and he was about to leave for a free agent and sign elsewhere, then they couldn't talk because that would be tampering on some level. They couldn't have extended Jordan Love, I believe, until after June 1st, but nothing prevents them, as far as I know, from talking and maybe starting to put together an outline for a contract. And I imagine on some level they did. But, even if they didn't start it until June 1st, Simpson, that was well over a month ago, month and a half ago now. So it's not like they just passed that deadline. Again, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. It's mostly just walkthroughs. It's very early stuff in practice, but I don't know. I just get annoyed when adults don't do their simple, basic job. I know you're the same way. You're a common sense man. We've had a lot of time to get this done, and the longer that it drags out, more people are going to talk about it. It's become a thing, and it's not necessary.
Well, and especially the top guy on the list. I mean, let's be honest. He's your franchise quarterback for the time being. It's not like he's the backup to the backup of the center. It's the guy that needs to be out in front of everybody and, is going to be the face of your franchise going forward. So you'd think that would be deal number one that you'd want to get finished and over with.
Well, that's what's interesting, right, is the Packers and Jordan Love have both expressed clearly, and the general manager, the coach spoke yesterday, Jordan Love spoke in different methods and to different people throughout the offseason. Both parties have said, we want to get this done. Jordan Love wants to be in Green Bay. Green Bay wants him here long term. It's not like with Aaron Rodgers at the end where he was peeved.
Wishy-washy.
Had to reel him back in. Remember that? They had to convince him to come back. No. These two parties want to get this deal done. So that's why I think sooner rather than later, let's just wrap this up. Fellas, let's get this across the finish line because we all know where this is going. Let's get it there a little faster, please.
The other big news in the world of sports, of course, is the Olympics, which gets started later this week. And Grant, the Paris Olympics going to feature all sorts of great American athletes. Obviously, Team USA almost getting upset by South Sudan. They were a 45-point favorite over the weekend and somehow managed to almost lose that game. And then they didn't do too well against Germany yesterday either. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like Team USA should be the clear favorite to win the basketball gold medal. Is that what you're thinking, or do you think they're going to get upset?
Yes, they have no reason or excuse to lose to anybody. Well, chemistry and they're that much better than everyone else. I've been a little bit turned off by Olympic basketball, Simpson, because your boy Jaylen Brown got done a little dirty. I don't like it. It reeks like Nike and corporate overlords and big business interfered here to keep certain players off the team. And it seems like the Olympic roster is very cliquey. All the guys are buddy. Hey, let's go, flaunt our shoe deals and our sponsorships.
And to your point, the worst part about that is that it was a teammate of his who is not as good as he is who got selected to replace Kawhi Leonard, who is no longer with Team USA. So it makes that a very awkward situation for the Celtics locker room going forward.
Well, yeah, and look, you're a Celtics man. You know, like Jason Tatum is thought of as the star and the face of the franchise. But in multiple deep playoff runs now, twice to the finals, Jaylen Brown's been the better player.
Right.
Now, he's not as marketable, and I think some of that is his own fault. But if I was Jaylen Brown, I'd be like, what do I got to do? Like, what do I got to do to get on the Olympic team? What do I got to do to get the credit for how good I am for the team that I just led to the title, right? So I don't know. That's a part of it, too, is I think I'm just, especially as a Bucks fan, like a little bit jaded toward Jason Tatum and the way the Celtics are covered. But that's a me problem. Yeah. I'll watch the Olympics if it's on and nothing else is going on. But otherwise, I'm not the world's biggest Olympics. Probably swimming and track. I like swimming and track more than basketball, because if I want to watch basketball, I'll just wait until the NBA season.
So you are a bit of a commie then?
Well, just because I like
because you're not supporting Team USA by watching every minute of the Olympics and go America. Come on, man.
And I got a baseball team to watch. I got other things to watch other than the United States trip over themselves against some, sub-Saharan African team. Sorry.
Please tell me you at least know who Ryan Krauser is.
I don't.
Oh my God. I thought you did a sports show in the afternoon.
Who's Ryan Krauser?
Oh my God. If you don't talk about Ryan Krauser on your show this afternoon, we're going to have problems. I'm giving you homework. You will go and Google Ryan Krauser, and then you will talk about him this afternoon. I promise.
Okay, maybe. Text me that name. I'm going to forget it instantly. You know what? No, I'll write it down. I got my phone in my hand. I'll write it down. I will take responsibility.
I am going to fight you the next time I see you. I'm going to put you in a figure 4 leg lock, and I'm going to break your kneecap.
Ryan Krauser. There you go. It is written, done, and it will be done for you.
Unbelievable. Grant Bills from the Wisco Sports Show, who apparently is very anti-American, doesn't want to go to D.C. to see the beauty of all of our statues and monuments and the history of America, doesn't want to support Team USA, cares more about the Brewers, which, whatever, man.
It's America's pastime, is it not? Is that not an American endeavor, watching baseball every day?
It's a 6-month-long endeavor. You don't have to, you can take a week off for the Olympics. It's okay. It's all right, Grant. They'll still be there when you get back.
It's a good point. I see your point. It is a good one.
All right. We'll talk to you next week. Grant Bills from the Wisco Sports Show, joining us on the phone each and every Tuesday to talk sports and all sorts of other crap. We'll get to Shaw and the Bad News with Happy Music in just a bit.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some #Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw. Tuesday edition of Bad News with Happy Music. What do we got?
Well, have you gotten one of these yet? Or maybe 50 of them? Political text messages that ask you to donate to a candidate are becoming more common. But be careful, because not all of them are legit. More and more scammers are sending out fake fundraising texts to trick people into giving up their credit card information. They know being passionate about a cause can make you click without thinking or overlook some red flags. Sometimes they don't even ask for money. They might just tell you to click a link and take a poll to earn a free gift. Then they eventually say you just have to cover the shipping, and that's when they ask for your credit card.
Nope.
The Better Business Bureau says if you get any unsolicited text like that, you should not respond or click on any links.
Kids today, they're always saying, text me, text me, text me. Don't you write a letter, you dummy?
I always reply with stop.
Stop, yeah.
I don't think I've gotten any that have asked me to take a poll or anything. I don't even read them. I just look for the thing at the end.
I block the number immediately.
And then I
delete the message.
Text stop, and then I'm done with it and delete it.
A woman in Ohio has pleaded guilty to making hundreds of unnecessary 911 calls and tying up resources that ultimately led to another person's death.
Oh.
Keisha Kennedy pleaded guilty to felony disrupting of public services, making false alarms, and 25 counts of misdemeanor misuse of 911 systems. Starting in 2020, this woman made more than 400 calls to 911.
Snap.
Her many calls strained the local fire department and ambulance service and first responders who were taking her for non-existent emergencies, leaving them unable to respond to calls for actual emergencies. In one case, this city's fire department was unable to respond to a call about a person who couldn't breathe because they were busy taking this woman with no medical conditions to the hospital. She called 911 multiple times per week, sometimes multiple times per day. The hospital was forced to triage and examine the woman each time she arrived, despite being repeatedly told she had no medical issues. And of course, taxpayers footed the bills for these repeated transports and hospital visits through Medicaid.
So she got arrested then?
She has been, charged with misuse of 911 and other related counts.
Is that a felony or just like a misdemeanor, get a fine kind of thing?
One of the counts, I believe, is a felony.
All right. How about
disrupting public services.
Never letting her near a phone again?
Yeah, right, exactly. A Nevada man was hiking on one of the tallest mountains in the world when his adventure took an unexpected turn. Ryan Cooper said his hiking team noticed a dark shape in some thick fields of snow. This is at the Husqvarna Peak in the Andes Mountains in Peru. He says, as we got closer, the object began to take shape. We could see it was a climber. And as we got closer, we could tell that he had been there for quite some time. The hiker was later identified as a man named William Stamfel. He'd been in that spot, frozen in time, for 22 years.
Oh, snap.
The hiker's body still fully intact. He had his boots on and a fanny pack that contained his driver's license. Immediately, the hiker who found the body decided to get to work to try to find his family. He was able to track down the man's children and called them with the news. He said they'd already accepted the fact that their father was going to be part of the mountain, so to get that call 22 years later came as quite a shock. This man and his hiking party disappeared after they were buried by an avalanche. After a week-long search came up empty. The hikers were presumed dead. Fast forward over 20 years, and William Stamfel was finally located. Now he's working to get the body home. Peruvian rescue teams helped carry the body down the mountain. They plan on cremating the man's remains and take him on a special last hike to spread his ashes at one of his favorite spots at Mount Baldy in Southern California.
Did the guy have a skeleton key on him that helped you find One-Eyed Willie's treasure?
But that would have been full circle. A 50-year-old man in St. Petersburg, Florida, died after accidentally being shot in the chest. Deputies got reports that a man had been shot. They found Kevin Bishop lying on the floor inside a home with a gunshot wound to the chest. His roommate, 57-year-old William Tompkins, was also at the scene. The two of them apparently had been drinking while Bishop showed Tompkins multiple guns that he owned.
That's usually the best time to start busting out the guns.
He told them that all of the weapons were empty. Detectives learned that the two men both pointed guns at themselves and each other while pulling the triggers, but they did not fire.
Look at me. Look at me go.
Bishop took a Glock 21 from Tompkins, and as Tompkins' fingers released from the gun, Bishop grabbed it, and he was accidentally shot in the chest. He was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. The investigation is ongoing.
Have you ever fired your gun up in the air and gone, ah? No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
I did point it at myself, though, when I was drinking one night.
Dummies. A wealthy tourist's $1,000 tryst with a Las Vegas prostitute ended up being a very costly mistake after she took off with his jewels that cost him nearly $120,000.
Were they the family jewels?
They were not.
Okay.
The unidentified man met the high-priced escort after a night of gambling at the Bellagio. The next morning, the man woke up alone in his bed and discovered the woman was gone. So was his $85,000 Rolex, his $30,000 gold necklace, and $3,000 in cash.
I don't know. It could have been worse, dude. You could have woke up in a bathtub full of ice and some
true,
kidneys
and you're
missing.
missing a kidney or something. He reported this to police. Surveillance video showed the initial meeting and then showed the woman leaving the hotel wearing a large gold chain and watch. She was subsequently caught and booked, charged with grand larceny. They say that the man told police he was visiting Vegas, playing blackjack. When he was approached by the woman, police found that she had took the items to a pawn shop, which she reportedly sold for just over $11,000. This woman has prior arrests for prostitution and trespassing.
Did he get his stuff back at least?
Yeah, he's got some of it back. He's got the necklace, but not the Rolex or the cash.
Yeah.
A dispute over a missing chicken strip resulted in a St. Louis woman hitting a Jack in the Box employee with her vehicle.
Oh, snap.
Police said Talanya Carter went to the restaurant and complained to the manager about a previous order she had made a day earlier. She told the manager her order was missing a single chicken strip.
Right.
So
I
in
ordered
response,
6 and I only got
the
5.
store manager replaced the missing chicken strip. Case closed, right? But despite that, Carter was irritated with the lack of ranch dressing provided by the restaurant, so she spit in the manager's face.
That's nice.
As she left the Jack in the Box and went to her car, the store manager captured her license plate number.
Yep.
She saw that, ran up to the store manager, and bumped into her. Then she got back into her car, put it in reverse, and backed into the manager. The vehicle hit the manager's left foot and ankle and knocked her to the ground. Carter left the scene and was arrested the following day.
You got to be honest, some of the responsibility lies in the manager. Not on the chicken or the ranch, but in standing there after this woman has already bitched you out over one missing chicken strip. And then
she's unstable.
And then spit in your face over some ranch, and then got out of her car and came and bumped into you, and you're still standing there.
Right.
You've got the license, you got, go back in the store, shut the door, call the police, and
let them take care of it.
You're still going to stand there and let her run you over?
Right.
That part is kind of your responsibility. You need to take matters, you got to get out of the way of that. In my opinion.
No, I understand, yeah.
I would. Someone spits in my face.
This woman's obviously crazy. You give her some space.
Right. What's the next step?
Right.
Well, I'll probably run me over with her car, come back with a gun or something like that.
A Southwest Airlines flight on approach to Tampa, Florida, flew as low as 150 feet from the ground while it was still nearly 5 miles from the airport.
Ooh.
This flight from Columbus, Ohio to Tampa last week ended up bypassing the Tampa airport and landing instead in Fort Lauderdale. It is the third reported case of a Southwest flight flying at what appears to be dangerously low altitudes this year.
Permission to buzz the tower?
Right. The previous 3 flights into Tampa flew at an altitude of 1,225 feet, not 150 feet, at the same point in their descent, a sign of just how far off this flight was from where it likely should have been. This follows 2 other low-altitude incidents involving Southwest flights earlier this year. An extreme eater died in front of horrified fans.
This thing is
after binging
gruesome.
on food for hours during a live stream. This 24-year-old woman passed away a week ago. An autopsy revealed that her stomach was left deformed and full of undigested food.
She's super obese, right?
Yes.
She's massive.
Her live streams reportedly lasted up to 10 hours and involved her eating gigantic plates of food. The so-called influencer from China was taking part in a live stream where she was eating large amounts of food while interacting with her audience in real time. Apparently, the same woman had been hospitalized before for gastrointestinal bleeding, but continued her dangerous streaming. And a bride-to-be from England claims an impulse decision to get breast surgery in Turkey left her looking like her boob had been bitten by a shark when her nipple dropped off. Madison Goodwin went to Turkey to get a breast job.
Right before the wedding?
The story doesn't say where in her marital process this took place.
That's the worst time to get it done. You got to be in that dress. You got to be in the pictures. Everything could go wrong.
Yeah.
You got to recover from that. It takes a while.
So she decided she wanted to get breast implants. And she looked in England. They were about $9,000, which she couldn't afford. So she knew someone who had gotten a similar procedure in Turkey. And she decided that she would do that. But she also admitted that she didn't really look into it all that much. And it was a bit of an impulse decision. She underwent a 2-hour surgery. And after a 2-day stay, she was released. She then claims at her post-op checkup, her right nipple was purple, and 12 days after the surgery, she was mortified when the nipple started to peel off. She was taken to another hospital. She said it looked like a shark had bitten her breast. Now she is being referred to an expert to see a wound specialist, actually, to see if they can do some cosmetic surgery.
My nipples are very sensitive.
What?
My nipples, they feel like kind of tingling.
Tingling.
That's never good.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I had hot flashes all shifted. Now my nipples are killing me.
Why are we talking
about your nipples?
Because it looks like a shark bit them off.
Yes.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Not if your nipple falls off like that lady.
Not going to happen.
He hit my nipple. You what?
You're insane.
Why would you do that? Did you just touch my mom's nipple? He just touched my nipple. Why would you do that to me?
I poked you on the shoulder.
I have very high nipples.
Not anymore.
Just one, actually.
Oh, my God. Well, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You know? You're going to stuff all that in a wedding dress. You got to be satisfied with what you got. Use some makeup. I don't know. Contour, eyeliner, something. Proper lighting.
Maybe a respected doctor.
Maybe wait till after to go get the breast thing from someone who's got all sorts of diplomas on the wall.
Right.
Has an office. You know what I mean? Is official. Maybe has references. 5-star rating on Yelp. Something along them lines. Not some Turkish guy in an alleyway.
Back alley, yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. Bad news, happy music. Thank you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We got an update on the guy in the pole, or not the pole, the pipe. We got a pipe guy update?
You know, I have not heard any follow-up on that. We brought the story yesterday. A guy woke up at the bottom of a 40-foot-long pipe that's only about a foot wide that he claims he woke up there, had no idea how he got there, whether he'd fallen in or somebody threw him in or whatever. And to my knowledge, they've gotten no closer to figuring out how he got there.
All right.
He's going to be okay, though. That's the good news.
That's good. Well, I'm probably going to ask you again later this week. So if you see anything come across your desk, remember to save it. Thank you, Shaw.
Rock mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello?
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us.
Check.
We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com. Visit the website for all of our contact info. Thanks again to Kevin. Texted in earlier about the fire station that's for sale here in La Crosse and said there's no pole in that station. It's a single-story building. Bummer, dude. Chris texted in earlier. We were talking about the Wienermobile, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, apparently involved in an accident. And he said, excuse me, the Vienna Hot Dog Company put a hit out on the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Pam texted in earlier about Anthony Anderson. Said, Brian, welcome back. You're looking for Blackish, the name of the TV show that he was on for many years. Again, I knew what shows and movies he was in. I was just trying to recall one that maybe Shaw would recognize when we were talking about Anthony Anderson. Earlier, Selective Hearing Stu texting in about Green Day. Said, every time I hear this intro, I wait for Godzilla to roar. The movie back in the early 2000s had a great soundtrack. Yeah, the soundtrack was better than the movie. That's for damn sure. The movie had, Matthew Broderick and... I'm trying to remember everybody else that was in that film. That was pretty much... He was pretty much the only one I remember. It wasn't good, but the soundtrack was okay. Thank you very much, Selective Hearing Stu. Let's see. Got a couple of Facebook messages as well. Zach said that Anthony Anderson was in Kangaroo Jack. Also, Paul sent me a message, said he was in Transformers. All correct. Thank you very much. It's good to hear from you guys. Thanks for the correspondence. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.